Although Instagram seems to be the largest in terms of followers. Hi, my name is Anne. I am a late diagnosed ADHDer who's also the only parent to an ADHD teen, and we're currently in Scotland. I would like to share my journey in July for content creation. This actually was month 4. So first, a little backstory. Back in April, I decided that this was something that I wanted to do. A year ago, I left public education after almost 30 years and started a consulting business. I'm also creative and had started a podcast in the pandemic called Define the Narrative for originally women who created families on their own. Then it expanded. I realized there were other things that I felt really spoke to that tagline. I started posting in April. The focus was just post, just post. I saw growth in the 3 months. Of course, as I think most ADHDers, it wasn't fast enough and it wasn't enough fast enough. I also know from my training as an educator, I believe in improvement science. So I was able to use the data to help me move forward. In month 4, I happened upon Lauren Dudley and she put a challenge out. These are my results from that month. As you can see, I have the 4 main platforms of Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. In all fairness, I have to share that TikTok was new to me and it still stays in the new. It's been very frustrating and I frequently did not post because it's not user friendly for me, but I'm not giving up on it. My Instagram account already had about 170 followers in April from my podcast. Although Instagram seems to be the largest in terms of followers, it actually has not been the strongest in terms of growth. It's actually been Facebook and YouTube. So these are my numbers, and I really stuck to numbers for the first 3.5 months. Then about a week and a half ago, I realized school's going to start soon, and I had to take a moment to go back and focus on the fact that I do have an ADHD teen, and I needed to think about what was needed for that. And that was when I realized that the content that I kind of found traction with was either ADHD parents, people who were interested in things that we've learned about Scotland, maybe a little bit about my hypermobility of Ehlers-Danlos, a few other various and sundry things that I have posted about. I happened upon Julie Chanel and I realized for my consulting business or content creation, you have to support it. I was very interested in her work. It made sense. And although I do not like sales and marketing, it is a necessary evil to exist in the business world. I watched a webinar that she had about funnels last week. I realized that although I created something that was very useful for me, that seemed to be something that people were interested in, which was a morning routine that really has made a difference in our lives. It was June and nobody was really interested in a morning routine in June. However, now I find myself, my own self, focused on the new school year. I had the realization that not only as an educator, but as a parent and a parent of a neurodiverse teen, I have a lot of friends who ask me questions about the way that I navigate raising my child and school for him. I also spent over $200,000 to send him to a special school that I believe literally saved his life. Everything kind of came together, and this is my challenge for myself for August. I had a birthday, and so it's a new year for me. And this year is about trying to be creative, also share the life that I crave for myself. Although I hope to continue to share about Scotland, we don't quite know yet if we're going to get to stay, but we have an appointment in a couple of weeks. I am hopeful. I know that there are parents out there that have spent money and still don't have a child that is happy, healthy, and successful in their school journey. There are some who haven't spent the money, don't have anything to spend it on for whatever reason, can't or are not interested in going to the extremes that I went to, that don't have an extreme to go to. They live in a place where it's not an option. What I realized is, as I was coaching a few parents this summer, we can make a difference in what we have control over. There are tens of thousands of other parents out in the world that are getting ready. The first thing is a letter to the teacher. You may already know you have an IEP, you know the strategies, maybe you don't know and you think you need something, but you're not sure what it is, or maybe you've worked really hard and don't have the support, but you know what works. works. I am going to offer a webinar. I'll start it this weekend where I'm going to invite people to come and I'm going to share a template that sets up the letter and has all of the different options. I will walk everyone through how to make the choice of what parts of the template to put in so that you have a customized letter to your child's teacher for the start of the year. And I'm also the teacher who received that letter for almost 30 years. I also want to be really honest. I have insight into reality that it may not land on the first day. I recommend you still send the letter. I've built it. The webinar will be free and I will continue to offer it into the following week and as much in August as needed, because the most important piece that's been healing for me is parents are carrying so much. Wherever you are in the journey of parenting a neurodiverse child, it is a challenge and it is something that is beyond a strategy or a tool. It is a coming back to center. It is like flying a plane on a journey. There is no one straight line. You think you want to go from A to B, but there are storms and there are diversions and there are winds. And it's not that something wears off and doesn't work. It is the coming back to center. So that is my July and it is me forecasting my August. I am grateful. Please take what you can use and leave the rest and come back though.